Let's go ahead and compare the budget, lower cost iPhone 16e with the Apple iPhone 15, the regular model here in 2025. Let's see what's different and how these compare. Which one is better? What's a better deal? First, let's go over price. The iPhone 16e is the cheapest iPhone in the iPhone 16 family. It pretty much replaces the iPhone SE from before. It used to cost $429. Now it starts off at $600, but you get better specs in a more modern phone, and it's in line with the 16 family. That one you could find for $600, brand new, but I find that you can get it cheaper at launch from prepaid carriers. For example, you can get it for $300 at Boost Mobile, and you're getting definitely good deals on prepaid. But $600 is the unlocked price. Now the iPhone 15 is still being sold by Apple, but that one costs $100 more brand new at $700. And used, you can get it for around $500 right now on Amazon, for example. But these are very similar devices within the same price range if you consider prepaid and if you get it used. So yeah, this is a very good comparison. They're only 1 year apart, very similar in price. So I think it'd be interesting to compare. So both of these are similar in size and similar in weight, but the iPhone 16e is a little bit more lightweight. Build quality is good on both, like always. Glass front, glass back, aluminum frame. SIM card status, both of these are running eSIM only in the US, no physical SIM card slots. Both feature 6 meters of dust and water resistance, so that's good. We're tight right there if you ever drop it in water. The screen, the technology is the same. 60 hertz, the old slower refresh rate is still there on both of these, so that's a tie right there. But visually speaking, on the display, you got the notch on the iPhone 16e, which is similar to the one on the iPhone 14. The iPhone 15 has more modern, more animations on the dynamic island, and they both contain the Face ID. So visually speaking, on the display, same technology, it just looks a little bit different. And this is one of the factors that if you were to set these on a table, somebody could tell that you have an older iPhone with the 16e with the older notch than if you had the iPhone 15 with the dynamic island, even though the 16e is a newer device. So that's something to consider. If you're always looking at your device, which one feels newer, and the iPhone 15 looks newer. But it has the same technology in the screen, which is a slow refresh rate. They both stay the same at 6.1 inches. And there's no always on display like the Pro model, no 120 hertz refresh rate. So they're the same right there. Another visual cue differences on these devices, now that I'm talking about that, is on the back of the phones. You have a single camera on the iPhone 16e versus the iPhone 15 has the 2 cameras on the back. So visually speaking, front and back, they are different looking. Moving on. Software, obviously they're running the same software. They'll get several years of updates, so there's no issue there. Apple A18, newer, faster chip on the iPhone 16e versus the A16 Bionic on the 15. And the Apple A18 is the same chip, pretty much. It's in line with the iPhone 16 and just a little bit slower than the one found on the Pro model. But you're pretty much getting the same type of speed as a more expensive phone on the 16e versus the little bit older A16 on the iPhone 15. Storage wise, both of these are equipped with 128 gigs of storage, and RAM wise, the iPhone 16 has 8 gigs versus the 6 gigs on the iPhone 15. So you could run Apple Intelligence on the iPhone 16e, which I think is a gimmick. So that's one big difference here. The iPhone 15 cannot run Apple Intelligence, but it still runs pretty fast, even though it has the older chipset and the 6 gigs of RAM. And like I mentioned before, let's talk about the cameras. The iPhone 16 has a single 48 megapixel camera. The iPhone 16e has, And the iPhone 15 has the dual camera system. It has that extra, it has the ultra wide secondary camera on there. So it's yeah, you're gonna get good pictures on both of these. You're getting ultra wide on the iPhone 15 pretty much, and they're both shooting in 4K. Both selfie cameras are 12 megapixels 4K as well. Bluetooth is 5.3 on both of these devices, so there's no difference there. But we do have USB Type-C on both. So iPhones, pretty much all the newer ones have USB Type-C. So that's a tie right there. Both have Face ID, but they're housed in, one has the notch, one has the dynamic island embedded. So, same functionality, not a huge difference, but one does look older than the other one. Next is battery life. Both of these have all-day battery life, but the iPhone 16e boasts having 26 hours of video playback, which is more than the iPhone 15, but the iPhone 15 still has pretty good battery life in its own right. Both charge 50% in 30 minutes. You don't have MagSafe in the iPhone 16e. The iPhone 15 does, and it has reverse wire charging as well. So in short, after going all the specs, what are the huge takeaways from the differences in these devices? Well, price is gonna be one. The iPhone 16e brand new is $600. The iPhone 15, if you get it brand new, you can get it for $100 more at $700. You go to used prices, though, your iPhone 15 is cheaper than the iPhone 16e, but you go into the prepaid market, that's another whole different type of prices. You can get the iPhone 16e for as low as $300 or even free in some cases. So in the pricing, they're very similar to say the least. But you got different options here. You got the extra ultra wide cam on the iPhone 15. You got a single one on the iPhone 16e. It doesn't really make a difference in general photo taking. They both are very good, but that ultra wide will help you take, if you're a realtor or something and you use it for work and you like wider shots, that's one big difference right there. On the front, dynamic island and the notch, to me, doesn't make a difference. But you do get a little bit of extra animations with those live activities on the dynamic island, and that's about it. It's the front and the back with the cameras, and the notch and the dynamic island are the only differences that you could tell these phones apart. They both have USB Type-C, so these are very similar devices in functionality. But the guts of the iPhone 16e is better than the iPhone 15, so it just has a little bit better processing speed and performance wise. You won't really notice it, but it's more future proof. MagSafe is going to make a difference for some people, me not really. This one, I actually do think that apart from the ultra wide camera, I do think that the iPhone 16e is going to be a better buy because it's more future-proof than the iPhone 15. And yeah, it's a very similar situation here, but raw power and Apple Intelligence, if you care about that, the iPhone 16e is just a more modern phone internally, but externally, the iPhone 15 is way more modern. So that's been my comparison of the iPhone 16e and the iPhone 15.